Jesus Christ said. Did you ever see that? Go to page 18 in the New Testament. Matthew chapter 17. Page 18 in the New Testament, Matthew chapter 17. Okay? And take a look at this. You should take a look at this too, because it's reincarnation. You can call it any other name, it's what it is. Matthew 17, 11. Well, actually in verse 10, Matthew 17, chapter 10, his disciples asked him, saying, "Why then say the scribes that Elijah must first come?" And Jesus answered and said unto them, Elijah truly shall first come. But I say unto you that Elias is come already. They knew him not, but have done unto him whatever they listed. Likewise so shall also the Son of Man suffer. And the disciples understood that he spoke unto them of John the Baptist. What did he say? I say Elias is come already. Elias is truly shall first come. Not just a representation. Oh, he's speaking the way Elijah did. No, truly shall first come. Elijah reincarnated into the body of John the Baptist, and Jesus said, he truly shall first come. And he said, they shall do to him what they shall do to me. You know what he meant by that? They did not recognize that Elijah was dwelling in the body of John the Baptist, and they do not recognize that Christ is dwelling in the body of you. Exactly the same. No different. And that's what Jesus was saying. I shall come in the body of people, and they will not recognize that. Elijah came in the body of John the Baptist, and they did not recognize that. So they abused him, not knowing they were abusing Elijah, and they will abuse me, and they will abuse you, not knowing that they are abusing Jesus Christ. Do you see? It's important that you do see.
Thank you for joining me for another video. So in the last video, we were talking about the kingdom of God within you. Okay. This will be the second teaching in my series. Now, I just want to clear up a few things here. So in the first video, I was predominantly speaking to everyone because everyone has the kingdom of God within them, right? Everyone has access to Christ consciousness, if I can put it like that. Okay, but now I need to make a distinction, okay? We can all have Christ consciousness, but we will not all have the spirit of Hosanna, right? So, if you have Hosanna, you will have the spirit of, if you have the spirit of Hosanna, you will have Christ consciousness, if you get me. But it's not everyone who has Christ consciousness who will have the spirit of Hosanna. Okay. So as I expound and continue, there are traces. It will be for everyone, but I'm predominantly speaking about the gifted ones, because there will be information on Christ consciousness, because I'm generally speaking to that as well. So I'll be kind of like using the terms interchangeably at times, or when necessary. Okay. I'd also like to say that, there is information on the Spirit out there on the internet, yes. I'm not disputing anyone as I teach. I feel like everyone is correct in terms of attire and just describing of the Spirit. It's just I will teach obviously the way I am taught, and it will not. Yes, I've been taught as well in spiritual attire, but the school doesn't focus on those things. Okay, we're looking for you know, the workings of that spirit, what is that spirit, etc. I will teach guys the way I am taught. But I will not be touching on attire and all of those things, the things that people have taught on already. Okay, there's no need for us or for me to waste time in regurgitating what has been taught already. And hopefully I will come on the video, but just for the sake of time and the message that is within me right now, I didn't have time to prep myself, guys. Okay, I'm actually like in bed. But anyway, please bear with me and thank you in advance. This teaching will be a bit heavy. Okay, we are going to be talking about the suffering in the world and what is salvation. What did God say is salvation? There's such immense suffering in the world, and it's something that has been escalating from before our time today, before we were born. But we see today there's a lot of suffering today. It's intense. It's only getting worse. From a large scale perspective to individually, you know. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't suffer. Ne? I'm not saying that. Because some things come to make us grow and challenge yourself. Like if there isn't something challenging you, I think you're also not growing to a certain extent. But now it's abnormal, if I can put it like that. It's escalated, and in the kingdom, it's enough. But when we look in the Bible, when there was like intense suffering and suffering had escalated, you know, people began to cry. People began to cry, and those cries reach heaven. Yeah, well, they reach the kingdom, and it forces the kingdom, because it forces the kingdom to stand up and act. Yeah, but it forces all of these cries. They force the kingdom to respond. You understand? And then what happens when God responds? He sends down salvation. So let's look at salvation from the Old Testament. Okay, hang on. Let me talk about suffering a bit, because the suffering in this world, guys, it's so bad. To show you that people are suffering and they don't know that they're suffering. People are depressed and they don't know that they're depressed, but they know that they are drained. Is this thing that happened with the rapture? I didn't want to entertain it for this very reason. You understand? It just showed me that people are tired. People are drained. People don't wanna, Marcos. People don't wanna be in this world anymore. It's the people are depressed, and they didn't know that they were depressed. They were willing to just give away anything just at the thought that they would exit. They don't have to carry the weight of this world, because this energy is heavy and it's draining. Yet we don't know. Yet we want to find pleasure in material things, and we don't find it, and we just continue to carry that weight, you know. People are suffering in silence. People have been rejected after being told that they were doing the right thing. 2020 messed us up because there are people who are suffering today, never the same and never to be the same. Marcos, the suffering in this world it's only increasing. It's increasing. It's increasing. I did not want to speak. I don't even want to speak about Tagatana, like the way we use even witchcraft on each other to cause suffering, because that is the fruits of this world and the energy of it. Yeah, like if you are so low vibrational, you are so much unhappy, depressed, that when you look at somebody prospering, you just have to get up and physically do things to bring them down. People are depressed. There is suffering. They don't know they are suffering. You understand? Of course. It's intense. If you really sit down and you dissect everything, the suffering in this world is intense. People don't know that. Yeah, the rapture thing broke me. I didn't want to entertain it because it just showed me that people are in pain. People are in pain and they don't really know where to go to get that relief. So as soon as somebody say, yay, we're going, Kanti, there's no going here. We're still gonna go, Isha, in this world. And honestly, that goes for all races. We are still going to go through things, see things we never thought we'd ever see. Maybe 2020, we'd be looking at 2020 like 2020 was something small. So in the Old Testament, okay, when it spoke about salvation, it was referring to physical danger, oppression, and even death. Escape from all of those things. God was speaking to that when he said salvation. And it is still like that. You understand? Even if you look at Book of Revelations, it speaks to the effect of saving the people from the oppression of the day and the dangers, the physical dangers of the day. You see, definitely spiritual dangers. So God will always send his appointed. The kingdom will always respond and send someone down or send a whole lot of people down, you understand, to intervene on behalf of the people. You understand? Of course. And that is the spirit of Hosanna. This is your mantra. Whether they like it or not, God will always have his people, you understand, to intervene, especially at times of heightened suffering, where the cries are, it's not even a choir, but it's like, it's too much in the kingdom, you see. He will always respond. They will always respond from the kingdom and send someone. And so the spirit is a very powerful spirit. We will delve in the next video And if you made it this far in the video, thank you. And I will see you guys in the next video. Emakosin Tozan.
Things I ever heard. It came from my insider, Jacob, I call him that in the book, who actually was working for the Rothschilds and still does, and also is a whistleblower who doesn't really do what they want but continues to work for them because he feels like there's some very serious extraterrestrial threats to Earth and that what they're doing is very necessary to protect us. So the story goes that in the 1960s, there was a black man in Africa who came in with abilities complementary to those of Jesus. And he was performing miracles. He was starting to get people to listen to what he had to say. And the cabal tried to kill him. And, they could shoot him in the head and his skull would just regenerate and the flesh would grow back and he was fine. And, so the crazy story that I heard, and remember, I was told at the time that if I disclosed this, that I would be killed. And I ended up putting it in the book anyway. The story was that this guy, they finally said, okay, we're going to bring you to the United Nations and share your message with the world. Let's get you on this flight. They bring him on this flight. And instead of bringing him to the United Nations, they shot him repeatedly and then actually had some kind of meat grinder device and basically like a bandsaw, I guess, and sawed up his body into a whole bunch of pieces, put him in these very like radioactive shielded containers, and then had all these fighter jets dock with the plane and fly his body parts to all corners of the world, where then these containers turned them into ash. And they thought that maybe this would defeat him, like that his body somehow, the tissue was necessary. So if they destroyed all the tissue in all these places across the world, maybe they could defeat him. Well, he then regenerated in their offices and was fully fine, fully intact. But the sad part is that he said, you guys so badly do not want me to be here that I am not going to be able to do any more. You're going to get what you want, but bear in mind that in the future, many others like me will be coming, and when they do, you will not be able to stop us.